All right, join us next week for the Cowboys.
My favorite team. Welcome to Buffalo Bills pregame week 10. We only have the cream of the crop for you here this week. Nakia, Randy at your service. After the Bills got crushed this week, what went wrong, Nakia?
What I always say goes wrong with our defense. If you spread them out, they're suspect. If you put more than 2 receivers on the field and you spread them out, it's suspect. It's happened all the time. I've been saying this forever, and that's what the Jets did.
They exploited our depth, or lack thereof, on defense especially. We had Fitz trying to get the ball moving as well on offense. Rob Ryan really seems to have our number, whether it's just he's faced us so many times or he had that extra week to prepare. Rex Ryan, I apologize. Well, he had the extra week to prepare. Do you think that we'll fare better against his brother?
I'm not sure about that. It's funny though, because Rex had never won after a bye, so of course he gets his first win, and they break all kinds of streaks with us. But with Rex, I don't think he has the same. I mean, with Rob, I don't think he has the same kind of team. Their front four is good, but once you get past them, I don't think we'll have a problem. So I think if Fred Jackson can get through the line, then I think we're good.
Will we have to rely on Fred Jackson more this week coming up, try to run the ball more?
I think we should, because I'm one of those people who thinks the run creates the pass. So if he gets going, I think we can use him to our advantage.
I think with the big lights of Dallas and that new stadium, if you just want to be a showboat there for some reason, you want to see Fitzpatrick.
Watch yourself on the 20-yard
Fitzpatrick,
flat screen.
right? Fitzpatrick dropping back, looking himself up, smiling. So maybe we're more prone to throw more. Who knows? This is a big matchup, though, for Gailey returning back to Dallas. He was the head coach there for a long time. Well, that's not true. For a short time. Jerry Jones was really impatient, and Gailey was the first person to get the axe immediately, taking over after Barry Switzer. Do you think this game means more for him, or is that so far in the past it doesn't matter anymore?
I don't think it matters anymore. Just like going back to Kansas City probably wasn't a big deal to him. He's going to do his thing, and hopefully he's learned from the last couple of losses, because all of our losses, I don't think really had to be. This one, I think, is the only one where I'm like, okay, this isn't a good loss. The other two, well, we actually got beat. The other two, I think we lost the game. So hopefully he's learned and he can come back and be better.
Now, the Cowboys sell hope almost as good as any team other than the Buffalo Bills, because that's all we have. But they always have names on up and down their roster. Jerry Jones accumulated some offensive weapons for sure. Out of the group, Romo, Murray, Bryant, Witten, do any of them scare you at all?
Des Bryant probably out of the whole bunch scares me, because he is good, and if Romo can, get it together, then the two of them together are great. The running back kind of scares me because we don't know anything about him. We've never seen him. He's, third string? Everybody else is hurt. So he's hungry. So he's pretty much going to do whatever he needs to do to get yards and to score.
Des Bryant does worry me. It's that number 88 on the Cowboys uniform, whether it's Drew Pearson or Michael Irvin or now Des Bryant. There's just something about that little magic there. Too bad they don't have a stop out there throwing it to him. But he's a force to be reckoned with. The Cowboys' running game has been really hit and miss this season. They've had some games where they're just out of control running the ball, and other times where they haven't got it going at all. So I think they're going to try to normalize that this week, especially against an opportunistic pass defense that the Bills run. Romo has been prone to throw interceptions. So I'm going to look for a lot of work from Murray coming up this game. We did suffer a couple of injuries. Kyle Williams was placed on the IR. He's out for the season.
Yeah, he had surgery today.
Successful, his agent said. Huge impact on our front line. And we're losing depth at defense that we don't really can afford to lose at this point. And in the worst of all places, where there is no depth at all, Ryan Lindell, who the announcers praise as a master of the winds of Buffalo, is out. We've lost that knowledge. Do you think this will lead to more fourth down risks?
I think so, because with Lindell, you kind of know, unless it's something crazy like a 60-yarder, he's pretty much good. He might miss one or two here and there, but for the most part, you know, Lindell was money. So I think bringing somebody in that you just signed is really going to be hard for them to adjust to, especially if they know nothing about the craziness of what goes on at Ralph Wilson Stadium.
All right. I personally think the Bills' playoffs hopes are looking slimmer and slimmer at every quarter they play at this point. This is dropping so quickly. But we do have a bigger picture that we're looking at as we look around the league and the matchups that we need to go our way to sneak our way into that 6th or 7th spot in the playoffs. We need Oakland to beat San Diego. We need Carolina to take one at home versus Tennessee. Denver to upset Kansas City. That's kind of sad that you have to go into Kansas City to upset them. Sorry, Denver fans, whoever they are. Houston versus Tampa Bay. Let's go Houston. And we need Seattle to beat up on Baltimore. There's two interesting games here that the matchups can go either way. New England versus the Jets. Big matchup, national television. Who do we root for as Bills fans?
I think we have to root for the Jets because we've already beaten New England. So we got to root for the Jets. Either way, it's terrible that we have to root for either one of them. But in this case, because we already beat New England, we got to root for the Jets.
It pains me to say I think we have to root for New England. You have to assume that they're going to win the division at this point and that we're competing for wild card spots with the Jets. And so you got to hope that the Jets don't win many more games. And then finally, Pittsburgh versus Cincinnati. Who are we rooting for there?
I don't know, because Cincinnati is quietly sneaking up, having a good record. Nobody's talking about them, but aren't they 5-3 just like we are?
Absolutely.
So it's kind of hard. I probably would root for, I guess Cincinnati, because I don't really want to play Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think it's because no one can take a red-headed quarterback seriously. I personally, my belief in karma goes way beyond any of my beliefs in football, and I don't think that rapists should succeed, so I'm rooting for Cincinnati. Topic of discussion this week. Who would you think would be a better boss to have? If you got to choose Ralph Wilson, compose ourselves. If you had to choose Ralph Wilson or Jerry Jones to be your owner, to be your boss. I mean, there's a great contrast here. Big money versus stingy old man, flashy versus won't even come out and address the crowd at halftime because he's not feeling well.
Nobody wants him to address the crowd at halftime.
So who do you think? Who would you rather have as a boss?
At this point, I think Jerry Jones. One, because I know I'm going to get paid. But then two, you got to figure Jerry Jones is going to cut you in a heartbeat if you don't perform. So you got to do what you need to do to make that money. Ralph Wilson kind of sticks with folks that you figure we should have gotten rid of like years ago. Ralph Wilson is not a one and done kind of guy like Jerry Jones is. So it's kind of a catch-22. But I think I would rather have Jerry Jones just because I know I'm going to get the money.
What I love about Jerry Jones is that he's going to have your back no matter what. Like while you're in his good, on his good side. Tony Romo is stinking up that $1 billion stadium, and Jerry Jones can't say a bad thing about him in the media right now, and he's not afraid to find the camera and say it out loud. Ralph Wilson, not that way at all. Ralph Wilson doesn't really talk to the media at all. He hasn't done an interview for like 2 years straight. It's getting ugly. But he's old. But Jerry Jones also thinks that his decision making is perfect. He makes himself his own general manager. He manages the team, and I don't like working for people who are so confident in their own imperfections or their own perfection. So I think I would take Ralph Wilson sitting behind the scenes, not bothering me, over Jerry Jones getting the media all the time, just to cut me at the end of the season. So keys and picks to the game. The Kia Bills have a tough game against the Cowboys on the road. What do we have to do to win this one?
I think we have to run the ball. I think we need to run so we can create the pass.
I think we need to not be afraid of the lights, just play our game, play the game that we need to play, and let the Cowboys make their own mistakes because they often do. Mm-hmm. Picks for the game.
Unfortunately, I'm not picking the Bills to win this one. I think it's going to be a good game, but I think, like you said, the lights are going to get to them. So I'm actually picking Dallas 27, Bills 23.
I have a similar pick as well. Dallas 30, Buffalo 24. Enjoy the game. Might be the last time Jerry Jones and Ralph Wilson ever play against each other, from the owner boxes, that is. And it'll be interesting. Have a good week. Go further.
See you next week for the Dolphins.